Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm Eric Rosen, and this is the show, Big Hand, Little Hand Astrology, the show that breaks down the astrology in just simple, basic to understand terms while giving you a daily horoscope. So, I'm actually going to be taking a certain trajectory now on this show where we're really going to be looking at the planet Mercury, which deals with the mind. I feel that because so much of us are dealing with living in our heads, believe it or not, like there's actually another way to live that's like not just thinking about everything all the time. um, Looking at this planet, what it means for us and how it interacts with the rest of the astrology is going to be something that's going to be, I think, very powerful for people to look at, especially if you deal with any type of anxiety, depression, worry, just anything just that's really of the mind's creation. And so I wanted to do this special video today to actually talk about Mercury retrograde and why it's actually not the worst thing in the world. Because if there's one thing that's getting thrown around a lot out there, it's like, oh, Mercury retrograde, like damn Mercury retrograde. Here's the thing. When Mercury's not retrograde, communication is operating the way that we're all used to, where we're communicating like with each other externally, okay? Like thought is like thinking about like what's going on in my environment, in my world. I'm communicating with you. When Mercury goes retrograde, it's actually not giving us a couple of things. One, it's going to give us new perspective, okay, so that we can actually look at things differently. And two, that new perspective is going to be in the form of looking within. So it's really a way of like looking within for guidance and clarity and answers for yourself, and not getting it from the outside world, or judging your circumstances and being like, well, let me reflect deeper and see like maybe what's really creating these circumstances. And so, you know, this could take the form of like, I feel this way or think this way about the situation, and then a friend comes along and they're like, hey, have you ever thought about doing this or trying this? And you're like, oh my God, I never thought of that. That's because when we're ingrained in like the same perspective and we never look at things differently, we're going to continue looking at things that way until there's a change. And so the change can come in the form of a Mercury retrograde. It can come in the form of when it interacts a certain way with another planet, or even just moves into a different zodiac sign. And so the truth is that if someone gives you an idea, only you really know too, like deep down, whether it's your truth, your answer, right? So even when we're getting like guidance externally, this is where it gets tricky for people when we start going out here and be like, oh, well, this diet says do this, or this, thing says do this with my business. And it's like, we're just taking that information and just like putting it to our lives without like really just being like, does this really feel right for me? And so Mercury retrograde gives us an opportunity to get in touch with that deeper part of ourselves. And so instead of getting upset about communication issues or travel delays or not being able to make big purchases and just all these other things that Mercury retrograde talks about, like that it's so bad, it's a pain in the ass, like it's actually a great thing, like celebrate it. And so why is this so important? So in my estimation, it's important because the thought is, it's everything. Like our mind, our thoughts literally create our reality, or it can destroy it too. So instead of looking at the environment and being like, well, I don't like these things, I wish this would change, it's about changing your thinking. It's not about changing what's already happened, like what's in your bank account or not in your bank account, or changing a person that you're in a relationship with. You change your thinking, and who knows, maybe you change your thinking and you find out like, wow, like I actually just realized through my new perspective that this person, I shouldn't be with them. So, and if you're not familiar with this concept, I would highly recommend checking out either The Untethered Soul or Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Those are both books that work with this whole idea, like you're not your thoughts, you're not your mind. And so, really what this comes down to for the Mercury retrograde, it's a period of reflection. Imagine if things just never changed. Imagine if you believe in this idea that your thoughts create your reality, but then your perspective never ever changed and you didn't like the results you were getting. Would it not drive you crazy if you actually knew like, my circumstances will never change. Like, I'm never going to be able to change my perspective and look at things differently. And so if you're creating a reality that is undesirable, that's what you're married to. So let's celebrate Mercury retrograde, like especially where it's at now in Scorpio, which deals with the raw truth. Like, this is where we get our deepest answers. And so there can be an element of fear that comes up with it, but the truth will set you free. That's the reality of it. So appreciate you guys. Mercury is going to be retrograde for a little bit longer, so hang in there. But I did want to kind of introduce this to you because I'm going to be diving into some more of the Mercury stuff in the daily horoscopes. So look out for that. All right, guys, have a good one.